Good evening, everybody. I am so excited that you're on this call tonight. Congratulations to all of you that successfully went through our 21-day challenge. It has been so wonderful watching everyone posting photographs and the results. They've been staggering. I just want to say that just if you think about it, just remember how incredible that you can be if you just put your mind to it. There's nothing that you can't achieve. Sometimes it's just a little bit of motivation and excitement, and once you start going, you just keep on going. So good luck with everyone's journey and continued success. There are a couple of things that I did want to talk to you about tonight, which really is a recap of a lot of what we have already done, just to go through it with you. And then I'm going to talk about the next steps. What do we do after today? So why don't we just go back a little bit and talk about why we all started this. We all started this because we had some goals to improve our health and our wellness and to feel better. And I'm seeing everyone coming on tonight, so welcome to everyone on the call. So what is low glycemic index eating? That's what our TLS program is all about. So understanding the glycemic impact of a food really does affect your metabolism and helps you to burn fat. There's a number that's associated with every food, and based on the amount of sugar that we have in our food and what the net carbohydrates are, then that is going to be the effect of that food on your blood sugar levels. So we want that number to be in the single digits. So we've gone through that, and I know that I have posted in one of our units how we come up with the formula for figuring out what our net carbohydrates are. Also, eating healthy and nutritious foods eliminates highs and lows. And what does that give you? Well, it gives you a lot more energy and it helps to burn fat. A lot of you have been commenting about that in the posts over this week. So what are some examples of low glycemic foods? Well, lean proteins, fruits, vegetables, some beans and legumes, and high quality fats. Now, I bet you're wondering why we didn't have any of those beans or legumes on our 21-day. The answer to that is that there is a lot of fat in that source of protein, as well as some of the starchy vegetables we really kept away from. I'm going to get back to that when we talk about our next steps. And the stable blood sugars that we have when our bodies are at an even keel, so we're not having those peaks and those valleys and the ups and the downs with our sugar spiking and dropping. What all of those stable blood sugar levels, they have so many benefits for you. They're going to keep your body in better balance. They will, again, improve your energy. Your sleep should be improved, and also it's going to improve how you react to stress, because we've really been targeting the three hormones, the leptin, the ghrelin, and cortisol over the past 3 weeks. So we focus on low glycemic impact eating, which is really about the quality and the quantity of the food that you eat. So think about that. Just because you might say, well, fruit is fruit, so fruit is healthy for you. When you have a lot of fruit, which is a lot of the quantity of that particular item, then that's going to add a tremendous amount of sugar to your world, and we don't want that to happen. So the effect of the glycemic impact on how your blood sugar affects your body and keeping it stable and even throughout the day is really about the quality and the quantity of the food that you eat. So some foods have a low glycemic index, but yet because of the amount that you would most likely eat in one sitting is considered to have a high impact on your blood sugar levels. So think about this. Carrots is one of the higher glycemic vegetables that we have. Now, M&Ms is also high, right? But if you think about what the serving size is, you would have to have at least 3 to 5 cups of carrots to have the same effect on your blood sugar level as eating a bag of M&Ms. So yes, you can have carrots, but I know that, that's something that you want to be careful about. I had somebody, we spoke about this last week, who has salad, which is, carrots and red pepper, and doesn't really have any nutritional content from the greens of the dark cruciferous greens, where we get a lot of really good nutrients. And baby corn. I mean, yes, those are all vegetables, but they're all high in sugar. So sometimes we gravitate towards some of those higher sugar fruits and vegetables because it is that we are really still craving some of the sugar that we are trying to eliminate from our system. I'm going to come back and talk about guide to help you with some of the cravings also. So what are some factors that can affect the glycemic index of a food? I think that that's a really great question. When you think about it, one of the prime examples that I would give would be a banana. A banana is a banana. It's on our menu plan. It's really great. But we want to make sure that our bananas are more yellow with maybe a little bit of green on the top, and not one of those bananas that's been sitting around for a week that's dark yellow skin with all of those brown spots on it. Just remember that the ripening process of a lot of foods will make them much more sugary. So we want to watch out for that. Sometimes also, when you cook foods, if you're frying foods, that's going to increase the glycemic index of your food. If you are cooking a lot of vegetables and cook them to death, basically, what's going to happen is you may as well just be drinking what's left in the pan, because you've really taken all of the vitamins and the nutrients out of the vegetable. So yes, raw is always better. Steamed is better still, but really try and keep away from a lot of heavy cooked things. So someone else asked me, does your body need sugar? Well, of course it needs sugar. Our cells need sugar. We need our energy source, which comes from sugar. But we want to make sure that we don't have an excess of that. And the hormones that we have, when the pancreas releases all that excess sugar, when you are transporting it into your cells, that's the release of insulin. So we just want to make sure that we keep our insulin levels balanced and that we don't get more than that. So you might ask, well, what happens when your body consumes more sugar than it needs? Well, your body will allow the extra sugar to be stored in your liver and the muscles, and in case you need a rush of energy later. However, remember that your liver, your muscles, and your cells can only store so much, and then the excess goes to fat. So if you think about it, when you have a cup of coffee, if you take the coffee pot and you pour the coffee in, when that coffee cup fills up, the coffee is going to spill over. And the same thing happens when we have a lot of sugar. We only have so many stores in our body that can handle the glycogen stores of the amount of sugar that our cells actually need. And when we have too much, it just spills back out into the blood, and then we wind up with more sugar on our body, and that gets stored as fat. So as a review, which is the hormone that controls how satisfied or full that you feel? That hormone is leptin. And which hormone is it that tells you that you're hungry? Come on, I told you, it's like that gremlin out there. It's the ghrelin. So when you overeat and your body can't tell that it's full until it's too late, that means that you're leptin resistant. So an example would be having a hot stove and putting your finger on it, right? Say you put your finger on that hot stove. If you were resistant to it, you might not know that that stove is hot and leave it there, and your finger could burn. We want you to get the sensation, putting that finger on the stove and taking it right off. So we want to make sure that your body knows when it's full, so that the ghrelin can say, not the ghrelin, I'm sorry, the leptin, stop, I'm full. So 3 things that can happen with leptin resistance and the cause. Well, number 1, you're going to have increased blood sugar levels. Increased insulin is being released, and of course that leads to weight gain. So we want to make sure that we get a handle on the amount of sugar that we have in our bodies. So when we did our detox week, that really should have taken care of most of the cravings that you had. And I'm hopeful that during our fat burning phase, which was weeks 2 and 3, that you were able to get out there and get some exercise in and increase your food intake, but that we were eliminating more of the sugar, which is why that fruit quantity dropped down. So with low glycemic impact eating, just remember the right amount of foods are eaten for our physical activity levels. So that's really important to know. We want to make sure that we get enough in there. Sugar absolutely has a place in your cells, but again, we want it to be more of the natural sugars. So that might come from some of your lactose products or from your fruits. When we get into processed foods, we are now talking about all of these sugars that are refined sugars that increase cravings and increase weight. So you don't have to have excess sugar and insulin in your bodies in order to just be healthy. I mean, you can really control it, and I hope that you have achieved that over these last 3 weeks. So just a simple guide to overcoming cravings. Just remember that cravings are normal and they are really quite common. Every single one of us can have them at different times. But cravings are limited if we do not indulge in them. That doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. It does not mean that you will not succeed in reaching your weight loss and your wellness goals. Cravings are really the best teacher to keep you on track with your wellness. Cravings are that little tap on the shoulder that's telling you that something is out of balance. So it's important to just keep a focus on that. You know, there's usually a reason that you're having cravings, and to identify the reason, you really should be asking yourself a couple of questions. Think about, was my last meal filled with high glycemic foods? Am I drinking enough water? Am I under stress? Am I getting a good night's sleep? Am I eating enough? That's a real biggie. Because we have an abundance of food on all of our menu plans, I hear a lot of my clients telling me that they just can't get it all in. Well, what that tells me as your coach is that the metabolism still needs to be worked on, because we should be able to negotiate the amount of food that we're asking you to eat. And that's what's going to keep you full and keep your body burning fat, which is what we want to use as our fuel resource. Think about this. Are you eating junk foods at a certain time? Do you have a habit? Do you sit down at TV at night and have to have your popcorn? I know someone out there is knowing that I'm talking about them. So get out there and just do something a little bit different. So what are some of the strategies that we can have? You know, try to get rid of the tempting foods out of the cupboards. You know, think about that. Do not try to control yourself with self-discipline. What you can control is your environment. In other words, if the cookies aren't in your cabinet, then you won't be able to reach for them, right? So the mere act of having to go somewhere else to satisfy your cravings really gives you the time to make healthier choices. Tempting foods also have a way of creeping back into your closet or your pantry. I know that for sure. Identify the foods that are causing you to stumble. If you can't resist them or eat them in moderation, and if they control you, rather you controlling them, don't you think it might be best to not have them around? So what you do want to have is make sure that you have alternative snacks that are handy. I have been posting a lot of recipes. There are many more on the tlsslim.com site. In tonight's unit, you will see that I've also posted a tremendous amount of recipes as we move forward for you to take advantage of, because it's important that you keep up trying new foods and eating different foods so that you don't get stuck on the foods that you are just comfortable with all the time. I know it sounds very simple, but it is important. Think about things that you can have. For example, maybe as we move forward, depending on which menu plan you choose, how about half of an apple with maybe a tablespoon of peanut butter on it? Maybe a handful of nuts. Remember, nuts and cheese will get you in trouble, But if you really want to add them, you need to know what the serving size is. So that is something that you will need to look at on the label of the canister of whatever it is that you might be trying. We also have Balance by Bistro MD, which is an online partner store of ours, which you can request information from me and I can provide that to you. And that particular program has a lot of foods that are made specifically for our TLS lifestyle on all of our different menu plans. In my freezer at home, I always have them on hand because maybe I just didn't get to the market and I'm not as prepared as I wanted to. Or maybe, you know what, I'm rushing out the door and I just don't want to think about what eggs I'm making for breakfast this morning. So I always keep about 6 at least of the breakfast Balance by Bistro MDs in my freezer because I can pop them into the microwave in 2 minutes and I'm done, and I know I've had a really great healthy breakfast and I've kept it on plan. Also, another thing that you can do if you're starting to have some cravings is think about some alternative activities that you might be able to do other than eating. You know, choose healthy alternatives over unhealthy activities. Instead of sitting in front of the TV with a bag of chips in front of you when you come home, try and cultivate a new habit. Maybe you want to start to take a walk with a friend or your spouse or a partner. How about just making a phone call to someone who you haven't spoken with in a long time? That's a great way to distract you. Remember, if you don't pay attention to your cravings, they will dissipate and they will go away. How about making a hot cup of tea? There are a lot of studies out there that talk about that just sitting with a warm cup of tea in your hands around the bowl of that is very calming, and that can help also with giving you something that you can, you know, drink down that's warm, that takes a little bit of time, that fills you up a little bit, and also gives you that soothing effect. How about putting on some music and dancing? You know, what about that? You can get out there and you could just, sometimes I do that. I put some music on and I just start moving around. It's a really fun thing to do. And when you're done with that, how about a recovery shake and have another protein shake, which is really, great for you. You know, recalling negative consequences. When you're experiencing a craving, just think about the negative consequences of giving in. And that goes back to your mindset. Take out a piece of paper and write down all the reasons that you want to overcome extreme cravings. Think about the times when you ate the entire pie and then you were like fed up, you felt sick, you felt bloated, and then how bad did you feel after eating too much of the wrong thing? You know that you have the ability to make a better decision about whether or not it's the right or the wrong thing, and if you choose to do it or not again. Talk yourself through a craving. Consider your reasoning ability to be a friend along the journey. You know, reason with yourself and talk about that. I know that I'm craving X, Y, or Z tonight, and when I think back, I really didn't have my afternoon snack today. No wonder I'm hungry. You know, you're at this place right now where you have the opportunity to make a lifestyle change moving forward. 21 days should have created a habit of healthier eating for you, and now it's a matter of moving forward into the next part of your journey. If you do give in, it's important to know when to stop, don't you think? And sometimes that becomes very difficult. And a craving doesn't mean that it's all or nothing. If you're committed to having that cookie for any reason, just maybe have a low glycemic snack first. Have a piece of fruit first. Or maybe a piece of string cheese and a glass of water. And then if you want to have a cookie, maybe there are 2 small cookies and not the whole sleeve of cookies, right? If we fill our bodies up, then we can really eliminate the need to want to give us more. I gave an example of, thinking about having, say, broccoli, say a head and a half of broccoli in one hand and 3 Hershey Kisses in the other hand, right? And not only, of course, is broccoli the healthier choice, but sometimes we're going to have the chocolate. Well, I don't know about you, but there's no way that I can personally eat 3 Hershey Kisses. But this is what I really want you to think about. When those 3 Hershey Kisses go into your stomach, how much volume does it really take up in your stomach that is telling you that you're really hungry? Very, very small amount. If you were to have a head and a half of broccoli going into that same stomach, I want you to visualize the volume that would be inside of your stomach. It would be a whole lot more and filling you up. Yet, of course, as we all know, dessert spelled backward is stressed. And when we're stressed, we're not looking to eat broccoli. We want to go ahead and we eat the chocolate. So we have to come up with a better way if we're going to have the chocolate and go down that road, that at least we are making a conscious decision to do that. And the first decision might be to have a healthy snack first, because then that might limit the craving that you have. All right. The last thing that you need in the world is guilt and this feeling of shame that you've screwed it up again, right? Just remember, forgive yourself and move on. We all need to work on balancing our blood sugar, and weight loss is a journey where it is a roller coaster, and relapse is part of the journey that you're on. The beauty of the TLS lifestyle is that we can still err and have one of those moments while we're living our lives, but then we just let that be and get right back on to what it is that we are doing. Affirm yourself. You can say something like, I really make good choices most of the time. And that goes back to the 80-20 rule. Even if you were to live your lifestyle 80% really focused on the TLS lifestyle plan, and 20% of the time, maybe it wasn't so terrific, and you could control that, you would still most likely be on your journey and losing weight, and that will fit into your lifestyle. And we do have a flex menu plan, which I'm not posting that yet because I think many of you are really just looking to continue your journey with weight loss. So I would like to see you go a little bit more with our next set of menu plans before we get into that 80-20 rule. So you have a couple of choices to make. We went through our detox plan. We went through our 2 weeks of our fat shredder plan. And now it's like, okay, what's next? Well, there were 2 menu plans that I have posted tonight for you. My favorite, which I love, which by the way, you can be on for really the rest of your life, is our Rapid Results program. The menu is there. It is not all that different from what the Fat Shredder program is. However, we do have some dairy on this, which was not on the Fat Shredder program. And this goes up to 2 fruits a day. This will also have your 4 to 6 ounces of protein at your 3 meals a day. Plus, we will also have 2 good fat servings per day. And you can still have a TLS nutrition shake for a day. I know a lot of you I've worked with before, and I know you're saying, well, what about my bars? What about my choice bars or a Quest bar as a snack? Well, certainly you can do that, but I still highly recommend having at least 1 TLS shake a day. There is just so many benefits to our TLS nutrition shake with the amount of nutrients, minerals, and vitamins, but also the amount of protein and fiber that we're getting through that. Someone texted me this week and said, I really want to have some grains back into my world. They are still missing it. That's fine. That's why I also posted the Sure and Steady menu plan, which you will see in the downloads on the Facebook page. And what this does now is this gives you a whole grain that you can have. And I'm telling you, please be really cautious when you start to reincorporate grains into your repertoire of foods if that's what you choose to do. Start with 1 serving a day. I say that because most people that I have worked with do have a little bit of inflammation and bloating that occurs when they reintroduce wheat-like products or starchy foods back into their diet. If that is happening for you, then maybe we're going to eliminate them. And the beauty is you can always go back to Rapid Results or the Fat Shredder if you feel that you want to do that. If you decide that you want to do Sure and Steady and maybe you'll add half of a sweet potato to your meal, that's fine. This is your journey, it's not mine. I am here to help you and to support you. But just realize that once you start to incorporate the fats and the grains and the starchy vegetables coming back into your world through Sure and Steady, that the weight loss is going to be maybe 1 to 2 pounds a week, where on Rapid Results, we really know that it could be between 2 and 3 pounds a week. Okay, that's really all fine. Don't worry about it. I mean, this is not a race, right? For those of you that have a significant amount of weight to lose, just keep steady on your path. That's all that you really need to be doing. And whichever menu plan you find fits best into your world, just remember that you can always go back. You can do a mini detox, meaning that maybe you just want to take the dairy out of your world again for a little bit till you start feeling better. But this is the thing, everyone. Please do not stop with your supplements at this time. The core that you had received in the 21-day challenge kit is 30 days. You need to continue with that. It is going to benefit you in so many ways and help you with your cravings and the amount of carbohydrates that get left in your body. Real important supplement. You might want to think about we have a fabulous, you had the multivitamin and the OPC3 also in your challenge kit. You might consider a daily essentials packet, which is a combination of 4 of our amazing products, which I take every single day. That has our multivitamin, our activated B complex, our calcium, and our OPC3. You might be interested, we have just released fairly recently an isotonic complete greens. Now I take the tablets of our complete greens, which is really great because it gives us so many additional types of greens and nutrients in there. But just so that you know that the complete greens, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about this, and I will post the flyer for you as soon as we get off the call because this just came up. But this is organic, and it has in here nutrients such as spirulina, wheatgrass, barley grass, alfalfa grass, broccoli powder, spinach powder, cabbage powder. You're not getting that, I know for sure, with the vegetables that you're currently eating. So all of these super greens are so important for the overall value of your health. They help you to maintain a healthy digestive tract. It works on inflammation. They might also work to help to support your immune system, may also increase your energy levels, and it supports healthy detoxification. So there are so many benefits to having super nutrients and super greens in your food, which is why even when it comes to having your salads, I will talk about having some kale, having some raw spinach, having some romaine lettuce, having some butter leaf lettuce, other than having iceberg lettuce, which has absolutely zero nutritional value for you. So mix it all together. When you have your vegetables, it should be a rainbow of colors. That's going to give you your best opportunity to make sure you're getting some of those dark greens in there. If you're making your nutrition shake, take a handful of raw baby spinach, throw it into that shake. It will not affect the taste. I'm telling you, it does not do that, but it will give you the additional benefit of some super greens. So look at the menu plans that I have posted for you. Take some time and decide where you want to move forward from here. I am going to keep this Facebook group live. I will let you know if I go ahead and do another live session, maybe in a couple of weeks. I may come back on live, but I will be monitoring it so that if you have any questions, I will answer them on the Facebook Live page. Please keep posting away. I've heard from so many of you how supportive it's been with positive comments to each other, and the beauty of posting foods and recipes that you have and the ideas. Believe it or not, it is so beneficial to this community, and I hope that we continue to grow it. If you have somebody that is super interested in wanting to join the secret group, please send me a message and let me know, and we'll try and figure out how we get that going for everybody. My goal is to be here to help you and to support you, and I wish you the best in your journey. And I am so proud of all of you and the success that you've had. So just get out there and keep going. And I hope everyone has a really great night. I am going to stay online when I end this live feed right now and answer any questions that you have. Good night, everyone.